It's good discipline. It's good for a lot of things. And almost everybody can do it unless you've got some problem like type 2 diabetes. Now, earlier I went on that Facebook might be shutting off my page. That's unclear at this point. And, okay, I got that message. And let me see that this is fading out live first. And if it is, see some comments coming on. Please share it out. And then we'll get started. A lot of things going on today, as is every day with the virus and the economy and various other issues going on. Echo, I'm told again. Lovely. So we get some issue going on here with the echo. Let me put this up. Maybe that will fix the echo, but it'll be on a different speaker. So please tell me how this is going. I have some drama sometimes when I you can tell I'm new to podcasting. Hey, Pam. Hey, David in Utah. How about now? Do you still hear an echo? I can knock this thing down. How about now? Much echo. How about now? Echo now? All right. There should be zero echo now. All right. All righty then. Sorry about the echo. Some tech issue that pops up when I use Skype. And so, hey, quite a few things going on with the, you can see I've not been shut down from Facebook. I'm obviously still on it. But just in case, definitely there was a warning that appeared to be from Facebook. Whether it's a phishing or not is unclear, because if it was phishing, it was actually quite good. But it may or may not be. Anyway, I've told Facebook. And bottom line is they have shut me before. And so definitely sign up for my YouTube and click the bell, or my Patreon, just in case they knock me down sometimes, for instance, for publishing some of the things I do, like calling this CCP Virus instead of COVID-19, which is their made-up name. All right. Now, interesting, so many developments on the virus. I think most people are probably at home and can follow a lot of it themselves. But for instance, there's so many theories about why New York and Italy and Spain and China have so many infections and so many other places don't. Like, why not Los Angeles? So people are speculating about this quite a lot. We have been for a long time. One speculation that's going around in the last day or so is elevators. Maybe elevators like Scott Adams mentioned that. He got it from somebody else apparently. For instance, Italy, as Scott Adams mentioned, it has the most elevators in the world, for any country in the world, which I had no idea about that. And Spain as well has a lot of elevators. New York, of course. And Los Angeles doesn't have as many. I don't know. I mean, everybody's scraping for answers. I've told you some of the differences in Thailand, for instance, of everybody gets checked. The temperature gets checked every time you go into a store, grocery store. Most stores are closed, actually. But anyway, we've actually got a special guest on, and we're going to get to him. And so, all right. Right, Pam, I did, and those passwords are changed. Hello, California. Well, let's get started here. Kim, you're there, Kim? Uh-oh. Kim? That's not good. We seem to have lost our special guest. Lovely. Seems to be on the line. Actually, let me hang up and call him back. It's Se Hoon Kim. He's a friend of Moynihan. Oh, he's not going to be able to hear me. Lovely. Uh-oh. All right, you there? You there? If you are, you're live right now. You there, Kim? Oh, lovely. We're having a tech problem, Kim. Let me try something else. If not, we'll have to roll this back. I can't hear you at all. All right. There's a lot of issues with the tech, as you can tell. And, all right. Try one more time. We'll try one more time. Tell me if you hear an echo now. And we're going to call it Kim again. Kim's a Tibetan rights activist. Hello in Japan. You there?
Yes.
Great, you can hear me now.
And yes.
All right, so hopefully there's no echo now for people online. We'll see if they say there's an echo. If there is, we'll need to cut this off and figure out what's going on. Let me introduce you again. Oh, the echo has started again. This is unbelievable. One way, okay. Yeah, I don't know how to fix this in any quick way. So it's Kim. I apologize for this, and you might be able to just call me back on my Skype, and I'll answer. I'm gonna hang up on this Skype, and I'll pick you up on my computer Skype.
Sure, thank you.
Sorry about this, everybody. Tech issues.
No worries.
Good grief. Well, if I can just answer it. Just stand by. I'm sorry. Is it still echoing? Is it echoing now? Do you hear it? You still hear an echo? All right. No. All right. Here we go. No audio. How's this? All right. Let's see if you can hear me. Let's see if everybody's hearing an echo. Oh, it's worse now. Look, we should just abort this, and I'll have to try to get it fixed because it's not. I've had this before, and it wasn't a simple solution. Right. I'm sorry about that, Kim. All right. Talk with you later. Bye. Well, there you go. Let's talk about the virus, and let's get. This tech issue is something else. But so now, are you still getting an echo? I'll put this thing up. There should be no echo now, I hope, or a lot less. Shouldn't be any echo now. The speakers are muted, Renee. They're muted. Definitely muted. All right. So there should not be any echo now. I'm sorry about this. I shouldn't be doing this live, but it happens live. And I don't have a production team with audio experts here. It's just me alone. So, right. I'll try to answer some questions, actually. We'll just get straight to questions. I've been watching the virus all day. I've been watching so many things unfold. You see, cases are, the rate of increase in the United States and some other places is decreasing. But of course, that doesn't mean we're anywhere close to being out of the fight with this, not even remotely close. This was what was expected if we do mitigation, which is basically everybody, as many people as possible, isolate. They're basically just achieving the expected initial goal, which is to decrease the rate of spread, to buy time and be able to work on therapeutics and other things, just basically buy us time. But of course, while we're buying time and isolated, the economy is crashing, and it's crashing super fast. So there's, you can see the situation here. All right. Let's try to answer some questions. We'll just get straight to that. Bonita's asking, how did I like Trump's response last night? Depends on which one you're talking about. Some of them, like when he's called a few of the journalists on the carpet, I've actually enjoyed. Hello, Iris Law in Hong Kong. And Georgine Madigan. Hi, Mike. New Jersey is glad to see you on Facebook. What happened with the email from them? I don't know. It was quite strange. If it was phishing, now keep in mind, I study 24 hours a day, let's say, when I'm not sleeping. So I'm up studying. And I was actually tired. And this email came in. I was like, is this legit? So I read it closely, and I looked at a few other things. I was like, this looks actually quite legit, because I'm always cognizant of phishing and that sort of thing. And anyway, so I alerted Facebook, but without response. And then, then I thought, well, I should go on live quickly just in case they knock me off, because they knocked me off before, and everybody's going, where are you at? And in fact, right now, there's people that have been signed up for my Facebook for years, and all the time, people will come on and say, hey, I just happened to check your Facebook. I'm still a friend, but I never get alerts. There's like 600, almost 700,000 friends on my Facebook that have joined my Facebook. It's not grown since 2014. Facebook truncates me. They've knocked me off at times. So when I got this, I was like, is this phishing? And there was a lot of things that made it look quite real. But I'm still on, so I've asked Facebook. So Charlene Twyford Davis, how are you doing? Did you see the Washington Post article about the Wuhan lab? Yes, Josh Rogan. And U.S. concerns in 2015? Yeah, from Josh Rogan. Yeah, I did, in fact. And that's, the idea, that's an important point that you're bringing up, Charlene, because a really important point. Remember Bill Gertz, when in about January, he's a China expert. I've read a lot of his work. I had dinner with him in Tokyo a few years ago on the China issue. And Bill Gertz came out in about maybe January or February. No, it was January. And he came out and he's like, this thing is related to the lab in town. And then the Washington Post, crashed on him like, it's conspiracy theory and that sort of thing. Well, now the Washington Post right now is publishing that it's not conspiracy theory. In fact, there's a smoking gun, a paper trail from the U.S. State Department about the, we put money into that lab to try to make it safer. Apparently, let's wait and see how the facts shake out. But the idea that it came from that, listen, the idea that it actually came from the wet market, that actually comes from China. Hold on. This is important to suss out here. Many people, you can read old books, like my sister's a veterinarian. When she went to veterinarian school, they warned about the Wuhan, not the Wuhan, they warned about wet markets, or biological breeding grounds, in particular China. And I've read that before too. It's been known for many, many, many years, right? So when this broke out, people immediately pointed to the wet market, and so did China, and so it had some, credibility, right? That it could be. At least it's plausible, highly plausible, right? But remember, that did come from China, and nothing from China, period, can be trusted, period, nothing. And so when China says it comes from the wet market, that's not evidence. That's evidence of nothing. That's just evidence of them, right, being still alive and breathing. And so now evidence is piling up that Bill Gertz was right and others were right. And as you remember, I have been very cautious with this, not taking a position because I don't know where it came from. But at this point, I'm starting to strongly suspect it's from that lab. I mean, it's getting pretty obvious, actually. And so that's a big deal. That is a huge deal, a big, big deal. That's why Steve Bannon and some others have been calling it China's Chernobyl, like Wuhan Chernobyl. I mean, it got out of control, and then they tried to cover it up, and then they lost huge amounts of lives trying to cover it up. Let's see. Brian Smith says, most people hate snakes and hate bats. There's no reason. Goes along with your xenophobia theory. My xenophobia theory? Who the hell you think I am? You don't know anything about me. Nothing. And by the way, I've seen bats sold in markets. I've photographed them with my own camera. It's normal. I've seen snakes sold in markets. I've eaten snakes. People eat snakes all the time. And when it comes to xenophobia, xenophobia is all over the world, and there's a basis in fact for xenophobia. For instance, when settlers came to America back centuries ago, they brought diseases that wiped out most of the Indians, right? That's why there's people out on Sentinel Island in you remember the missionary that got shot full of arrows or whatever about a year and a half ago or something like that, a year ago. The Indian government has warned Sentinel Island is off limits, and you're not to go visit the indigenous people there for one, you might give them diseases, and two, they'll shoot you full of arrows. And that's what they did. They killed the missionary. And so, and no charges against them. So that's their island. And so they were being invaded by a missionary, and they killed him, right? And so, and he could have killed them with the viruses or whatever he carries in his body, right? And so this happens over and over and over. Somebody comes in with a, from a stranger from afar, lands on a boat and brings disease and wipes people out. So it is a big, big deal. Xenophobia has a basis in fact. The people, PC, trying to whitewash it away like, hey, what's all this? Like they're some sort of enlightened people. They're not any more enlightened than we are. In fact, they're a lot less enlightened. They don't know what I call the fish in the aquarium. Not all fish work in the same aquarium. I've been in 75 countries, and I mean really been to 75. I'm not talking airport stops. I spent more than half my life outside of the United States, where I'm the Xeno, right? There is when I'm up in China, they definitely treat you badly because you're a Xeno. They definitely do. If you do that in the United States, your business will go out of business. But we see that the McDonald's in China, not all of them, but at least one, kicking out blacks and that sort of thing. That's normal for I see stuff like that all over Asia. You'll see signs. Listen, for what I'm going to tell you now, I got blocked from. Where did I get blocked from? I got blocked from one of the I think it was here on Facebook. I got blocked on one of the social media sites. There was a sign, a hand sign that somebody put up in Chiang Mai at a restaurant it was a guest house, and it said no Israelis. And all I did was put up the sign. That's all I did. I got blocked for whatever, racism or something. I didn't put up the sign. This is just an atmosphere. That's it. You can literally put up signs in Thailand. No Israelis, no Africans, no whatever. And it happens. It happens. And so it's not uncommon at all. And that's Thailand. And Thailand's very much nicer than China. So in China, it's nothing to see things like that. So the xenophobia thing, there's basis in fact, and we're not the only ones that do it. I see it everywhere. And people that don't have, I see. I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry. Yeah, I took it the wrong way. Maybe I read it wrong. I'm tired, Brian. My apology. My apology. But snakes. A lot of Americans eat snakes. Did you know that? I've never eaten a bat. Well, I hope I haven't. If I did, I didn't know about it. The fear of, Brian Smith says, the fear of bats and snakes is genetic. I don't know if it is or not. I've thought about that a lot, actually. It's weird that you even say that. Because I don't know. I don't know enough about, genetics. I do know I've spent a lot of time rolling around the world, and some cultures are a lot more afraid of snakes than others. A lot. And I've wondered about this, I'm not highly afraid of snakes. I am highly respectful of them, especially here in Thailand or in India, Nepal. When I'm in Florida, we've got venomous snakes. We've got, water moccasins, coral snakes, rattlesnakes of various sorts. Quite a few, actually. But very few people die from them. If you get bitten by, even a rattlesnake in Florida, your chances of dying are quite low, actually. In most of our snakes, and our snakes in Florida, even though they say water moccasins chase you down, I don't know. I spent a lot of time out with water moccasins, and they never chased me. But maybe they do. I don't know where that came from. If they don't, so I'm going to guess that they do at times. But there's other parts of the world where the snakes are straight up, total deadly. I mean, they very aggressive. They come after you. They see you. They literally come after you. They're highly venomous. The snake venom thing is sort of like the spread of this, this virus. There's snakes that are highly toxic. Their venom is highly, like some neurotoxin, or especially the neurotoxins that are particularly bad, but they're not very aggressive. Or they don't give out much of it. there's those. You know, there's super toxic, or like a sea snake. There's sea snakes are super toxic venom, but they're in the sea. Who comes across them, right? And then there's other snakes that are, you know, less venomous and less toxic, but they're aggressive. And then there's those in between. That's why, you know, if you try to find how many people die from India every year by cobra bites or snake bites, it's like 20 or 30,000. Nobody seems to know, actually. If you look up now and you try to find the actual number, you'll find all kinds of articles. This one will say that, and this will say the other. But bottom line is it's thousands and thousands of Indians. And that doesn't include Bangladeshis next door or Nepalese, not as many in Nepal, but, and, you know, all the snakes. So, I mean, I think that a lot of I think it's cultural, actually. I think it's cultural why some people are more afraid of snakes than others. Because, for instance, I grew up with blacks in Winter Haven, Florida, as did my friend here, Charlene Twyford Davis. And my black friends are super afraid of snakes, like to a man. Every single one of them, super afraid. A black woman raised me up, Viola, for a while, after my mom died and some other things. So she used to take me fishing and stuff. Viola was so afraid of snakes, she killed my brother's snake. My brother would catch snakes and keep them. So Viola was super afraid of snakes. All my black friends, but I would go out and catch them. I'd catch them all the time. So I wondered about that all my life. Why were blacks so afraid of snakes? I get in the Army, black soldiers that are super courageous, really do all this, but they're afraid of snakes. Jake the Snake. And it's like a joke, like don't bring food into the tent because, you know, you bring food into the tent, mice come for the food, snakes come for the mice. This is all true. And black soldiers are afraid of snakes. It's like, you know, it's like a joke around infantrymen. You know what I mean? But, you know, there might be reason for that, though. In Africa, they got snakes there that are straight up slithering shotguns. You know what I mean? You get hit with one of those and you're a dead man, you know, and they can be aggressive and there's not going to be any hospital. There's not, you know, but for me growing up in Florida, I'm like, it's probably, I mean, I don't want to get bit, but, you know, how many people do I've ever heard of that got killed, you know, by a snake? So Megan says you'd love to read my bio. Actually, you can read part of it in a book called Danger Close, which you can get on Amazon. When I wrote Danger Close, I think Charlene's brother's in there. I think Eddie's in there, isn't he? Eddie Twyford. One of my great friends, Eddie Twyford, is Charlene's brother, and I think Eddie's in there. But it's called Danger Close. Actually, when I published Danger Close, it was the only book by that title. I checked it out. You can't copyright titles, actually, but I checked it out to make sure it was and now there's like 20 books by that title, 20 books and films and stuff. So if you look on Amazon for Danger Close, you're going to find all this other stuff. I don't know what it is. I picked the. It has been interesting, Megan. And now we're all going through this plague together, which is like nobody's ever done this, not in our lifetime. Well, there might be somebody that's like 2 years old that did it. Or, I mean, that was 2 years old when it happened. Yes, I wonder why some cultures are so afraid of snakes and others aren't. But I'll tell you one thing. When I am in India and places like that, I'm much more alert. And also, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not afraid of snakes, but if you're with me, and I respect snakes. I don't kill snakes and that sort of thing. I mean, if I come up one day and there's a cobra in my house, I'm going to call the fire department. Sometimes that happens, actually, even here in Thailand. It happens a lot in Indonesia. Fire department comes to get them. Anyway, but you know, if I see I'm not afraid of snakes. I highly respect them. But if I see like a water hose and it catches me off guard, I will jump back. I mean, I've got a reflex to them, right? I mean, there's no, you know what I mean? Because I've been around too many places where there's cobras and crates and just everything, you know, all those things that one shot, one kill snakes, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Jesse, Taylor, I hope if you read Danger Close, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the Bill Gurley chapter. That's something else. That Bill Gurley chapter, I learned a lot from the Bill Gurley incident. That's one of the most educational incidents of my life. Is the Bill Gurley incident. All right, let's see. Liz, easy to catch a bat. Take a towel. They will fly into it. Release in Michigan. Yeah. A lot of people are afraid of bats. Yeah, they are. I'm not afraid at all. Actually, when I was in Bangladesh looking for tigers, I stayed in this. It's dangerous. Bangladesh at the Sundarbans. Look up Sundarbans. Sundarbans. I hear lights are out. I'm like, that sounds like a bat. I turn on the lights. Yep, there's a bat in my room. Just open the window and let it fly out. But oh man, Sundarbans. If you want an adventure of your life, go to Sundarbans. I doubt. Or it could have been accidentally released. It could have been a weapon that was accidentally released. It could have been a weapon that was intentionally released. It could have been a lot of things. It could have been, could have been. And we might find out with reasonable certainty at some point. I mean, it looks like people are honing down on it. One thing that is 100% sure, and I don't use the word 100% very often, and others are noticing this as well, it is now weaponized by China. They closed down Hubei province internally for China and allowed them to continue to go to Hong Kong. Taiwan's smart. Taiwan shut them down. And other countries, they were still flying to New York, still flying to Los Angeles, San Francisco, Italy. So they weaponized it at that point by just allowing it to spread. That was clear weaponization. Bought up PPE all over the world, masks and whatnot. And then when President Trump said, "Oh, we're going to shut down flights from, Hubei," everybody's, including China's like, "You're racist, you're xenophobic." See, that's why when people throw the xenophobia term on me, I'm giving them the middle finger. I'm like, you can get lost. I know who you are. You know what I mean? You're just like, you're either some brainwashed, very limp-minded person, or you're like an information operator from China, right? Because that's what they do. They always throw out misogynist, xenophobic, racist. They love to throw those three out. So if you see those three coming, or at least two of those, like, misogynist, racist, you know what I mean? Or xenophobic, racist, okay. And then you're like, okay, blocked. We don't have time for that crap. And this is a good turn on the PC thing. The PC thing has gathered so much momentum over the years, and I just sense now that more people are becoming like us. And they're so tired of PC that it's going to flash back on them. Because at this point, we're stiff-arming them. We're like, xenophobic, blocked. You're out of here. I don't even want to talk with you. It flashes back on them, right? It's a grenade they cannot throw far enough. Hello in Buffalo, Wyoming. I've been there, man. I've been to Buffalo, Wyoming. Man, y'all are way out there. I love Wyoming, man. That's a good place. You can get some good steaks up there, man. Hey, SB. I caught a bat when I was fly fishing for it. Trout. Oh, man, you got it on fly? Oh, man, that would be a good way to get one. If you're driving. It took my fly just the same as the trout would. My friend helped me to unhook and release it. The bat was not happy camper. The next day, fishing store, I walked in, and the guy started humming the theme from Batman. Actually, a lot of people don't know what fly fishing is. You know what's strange? Like, I grew up fishing and catching snakes and, all kinds of stuff. So, to me, I kind of thought everybody knows how to fish. But in reality, most of the people, like when I was in Hong Kong, I talked with a lot of people about fishing and stuff like that. Because Hong Kong, believe it or not, is mostly uninhabited. It's mostly like, not built up. I think 70% is not. But none of the Hong Kongers I met knew how to fish or anything like that, which was quite interesting for me. Yeah, they didn't actually kick me off, Joe. I got a warning. I don't know if it was fishing. If it was fishing, it looked pretty interesting. Yeah. Brian Smith says, political correctness is accumulating quite a body count over the years. It has. And it's time for us to push back. Well, some of us have been pushing back for a long time. Hello in Bangkok, Nikki Vong. Are you Vietnamese? I'm just taking a guess. Oh, thanks, Jesse. I bet Jesse Taylor Britton is saying Danger Close. That's my first book. Is a great book. things have changed a lot since I finished that book, huh? Look at here we are in the Black Death. Who would have expected? This is going to drag out for a long time. Barry Henderson, looking for tigers. Yeah, I was looking for tigers in Sundarbans. I did in India too, and I actually photographed some tigers in India. And that was where I was hunting cannibals too. I got some cannibals too. Oh, cannibals were much more dangerous and much more interesting than the tiger hunts. I didn't kill them any. I didn't kill them, but it was quite dangerous with the cannibals. It was even more dangerous than the tigers. Man, that was something else. A few years ago, somebody asked me to go back to India to search for somebody that was missing because they know I had tracked people in. And his name is Justin Alexander Shelter. You can look up, remember this name. I'll say it again slowly, and you can web search it and web search my name, Justin Alexander Shelter, or just Justin Shelter, like shelter, like from the rain, shelter from the rain, Justin Shelter. So Justin went missing in India. And I said, I think this guy right here did it. And so you're not going to believe this story. This in Outside magazine, I think it was Outside that did a big story about this, but they didn't tell this part of the story that I'm telling you. This has not been published to my knowledge, or if it has, it was me doing it on Facebook. But so I told him, I said, go for this one guy. He's a Naga Sadhu, right? Which is a type of holy man, Naga, right? Long story. It was actually Nagas that got me on the trail of the Agoris, right? But I was like, go after this one guy. I'll bet you he's the one. I'll bet you he killed Justin. Justin was just missing at this point. So, right? And I was in Thailand. And I was like, I can't go over hunting for Justin, but I'll put you on the right trail. If you run into a dead end, I might come over, right? And so they go over, his friend and his mother, Justin's friend and mother. They go from California, I think, right? Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, so they go to India, and they find that guy that I told them to find, right? He's the Naga. You can see him. He's in this article. I think it's Outside magazine now. And so the guy gets arrested, right? And he's in jail. The guy that I told them to get, I was like, get him. I'll bet that's your guy. So they get there, and they tell the police about him. The police actually arrest that guy, and they do have evidence that they do think it was him because he was with Justin and all these other things. And so they arrest him. He's in jail, and then he suicided, quote unquote. And anyway, it's just very mysterious. You can see. So the guy that I told them to go get did get arrested then, and then the police really thought that he did it, and then he died in jail, like under mysterious circumstances. Oh, it was a really wild story. Anyway, India. Let's see. Yeah. My book, Danger Close, is a good book to read. You will know a lot more about where my psyche and where I'm coming from, because we all have our roots, and that describes mine quite a lot. All right, let me see if I can. Megan says, did they hunt you? You mean the cannibals? One definitely tried to kill me, but he missed, obviously. I'm alive. He's dead. I didn't kill him. I did not kill him. I was far away when he was killed. Or I don't know if he was killed. He died. I've actually got his autopsy. Danger Close is a great... Thank you, SB. Danger Close is a great read for any of you in Mike's group who haven't read it. It's really pretty wild ride. You can... My growing up days were pretty uncommon and strange. Hey, Iris Law. Fishing, some friends go fishing. Many places have sea coastline to fishing. Do you know how to fish, Iris? You ever go fishing? We used to do that a lot when we were kids. Oh, I'm just here for a chat, Lois. Actually, I was here to bring on a Tibetan rights activist, and Se Hoon Kim. He's up in Rochester, New York, and then we had echo problems we had tech problems, so I just went straight to questions. Yeah, let's see. Thank you, Eduardo. Danger Close is a great book. You know, I should just read that book. You know what I mean? I should do a books on tape thing, because actually a lot has changed since then, and I know a lot more about different subjects than when I wrote that book, because I started writing that book in 1996. Right? I started writing it in 1996 and published it in 1999. I didn't know anything about writing. I never took a single writing course. And so you know, it's super hard to get published, right? And so I wrote the book, and it did very well, actually. And it's, people still read it this many years later. And but if you look at my childhood life, it was pretty weird, actually. I mean, compared to, it was. Now that I'm an adult and have survived it, it's quite, helpful. It's a great background. That's why when I see kids doing dangerous stuff, a lot of times I'm like, well, here's your choices. You can keep them away from danger all the time, and maybe they'll never get hurt, but they'll also lose a lot of education. What are you going to do? Ted says the curve for new cases in the USA has turned down. Yeah, I was looking at the stats. I'll watch them closely, which is expected with the mitigation, right? So, which is good, but now we got to reopen. And so, there's that danger that all the infectious disease experts, this is their life. They live this. They know the danger. And the epidemiologists they're like, we do this all over the world all the time, As soon as you stop with the mitigation, now we're going to have the increased infection. And it can happen explosively this time, according to them, because now you've got cases all over the place as opposed to a few dripping in here and there, right? So now they're all over the place. So if you suddenly spring break, everybody's out, do what you want to go to church, go to the party, go to the bar, go to the restaurant, go in the elevators, go everywhere you want, this time it would probably explode, according to the epidemiologists and virologists, and it makes sense. You don't need a lot of math skills to realize that the situation has changed now, because now we've got this disease all over the place, as opposed to, the first cases coming in, dripping in. Lois says, fishing off the pier with 2 hooks on the line, pulled in a perch 2 after 2 when they were running. Oh, yeah. Perch are good. Well, it depends on what kind of perch, though. Russell P. Mara. Love Danger Close. My sister got it from you at a book signing. Oh, really? Well, that's great. Tell her hello. Melanie says, love first-person point of view from a little boy. Yeah. Let me see. Do I have one here? Oh, I do. Hold on. I'll be right back. This is a later version of it. You probably got a copy that has a different cover on it. That's a cover, because I took that photo in the Iraq War. That was actually one of the first photos I published from the Iraq War. That was in Bakuba, Iraq. That was a sniper friend of mine. And notice my book got the Bill Gurley Award for creative nonfiction. That's a very rare award to get. You have to be a really special person to get that Bill Gurley Award. Oh, you see my dirty fingernails? Did I tell you what happened? Good grief. I've told you about this crap stuff from China. So I'm doing my fingernails so I don't look like the Wolfman Jack when I'm on the, doing these podcasts. Plus, it's important to keep clean fingernails anyway. And I'm doing my fingernails, and the freaking thing broke. The fingernail clipper broke, so I just bought some from America to get them sent over. They're on the way now. So my fingernail clippers broke, and I don't feel like chopping them with scissors, or I'm not going to put my fingernails in my mouth. You know what I mean? I might hunt and eat snakes, but I'm not a savage. And I might hunt cannibals and all that stuff, but I'm just, I do like clean fingernails. Read from my book? Maybe I should. Hold on. It did get the Bill Gurley Award. Where's my friend Richard White? Hey, Charlene, maybe you can punch a message out to Eddie and tell him I'm on. I'll read part of it. Eddie Twyford. Charlene was on here somewhere. Charlene, Charlene, was that you that supported me the other day? If that was you, I really appreciate it. But Charlene, her brother Eddie, is one of my best friends since childhood, and she was and Eddie was actually best friends with Scott Helvenston, the youngest Navy SEAL in history. Actually, we all went to high school together. Oh man, just we had such a really interesting group of friends. Well, most of us are still alive. Some of us aren't. Yeah, and so there's Charlene. That's Eddie Twyford's brother, and so Eddie's in my book, right? I think he's in my book. If not, he should be. If not, I'll need to do another edition and make sure he's in it. Oh, Eddie, her brother. Speaking of snakes, her brother, Eddie Twyford, Charlene's brother. He took a snake because we were always playing tricks on each other with snakes, like putting them in the neighbor lady's, mailbox or whatever, right? So Eddie Twyford, he took a snake. It was like a yellow rat snake or something. Eddie would have to. I think it doesn't matter. But he crawled up on the roof of Richard, our mutual friend Richard White, whom I was born 3 days apart with in the same hospital. So we go way back. So Eddie climbs up on the roof with a snake and puts it in Richard's house, right? And as a joke. And but Richard's mother, Phyllis White, Mrs. White, oh boy, she was upset about that for easily 20 years. Easily. Every time I go over to their house, not every time, but sometimes when I go over to their house, we bring it up and she'd be like, that Eddie Twyford, I remember when he crawled up on our roof on the second floor and he put that snake in Richard's bed. We never got that snake. We never found it. All we would find is snake skins, and they just got bigger year after year. That Eddie Twyford. Oh, man. Thanks, Charlene. Yeah. Bill Gurley Award. Don't tell what it's about. But, I mean, seriously, it did get the Bill Gurley Award, and you'll have to read it to see why. I mean, and that, how I got the award is highly educational, to say the least. And this is a photo right here that I took. That's actually, the boy is me. That's me that, I think it's me, that the artist put in a, I think that's me from some family photo. I'm not sure. But this is a soldier, a sniper. Actually, I think he lives in Germany now because he sends me messages sometimes. But he's a sniper in Bakuba, very good combat soldier. And I took that photo on a mission, actually. All right, let me see if I can. You got your copy from the library. Well, make sure to read about the Bill Gurley story. Let's see, Diane Sims Taylor. Grateful there are effective treatments. Won't necessarily help spread for those smart enough to learn about the treatments. It will help the death rate. Oh, Lois, you want me to read something? I don't know what I should read, though. The first chapter is too long. It's not really long. It's a fast read. A lot of people read the first chapter. It kind of freaks them out. They get freaked out by the first chapter. They're like, you did that? And I was like, well, it was all over the news. So, yep. I didn't make it up. And I survived it. The other guy didn't. There you go. All right. Angela Lawson is saying, when do you think the shutdown will end? Okay, that's a tough question. Nobody can answer that because that's a huge and very important question because people in different states, if you're in the United States, I don't know where you're at, but different countries will they'll make their own decisions, right? And in different parts of the United States will make their own decisions. And technically, really, constitutionally, if you're an American and you're in America, you can go out if you want. They can arrest you if they want. Later on in trial, I don't know, lawyers are telling me you'll probably win. I mean, if you want to. I mean, I wouldn't do it. Actually, I've changed my view on it over time because our really heavy shutdown that I wanted to do right in the beginning to stop it from really getting in and then just let it trickle in and give us a chance to really stop it. Well, we blew that. And now we're into mitigation. Now, at least half of America and the world is probably going to be infected by it, according to experts. And so most of us watching this right now have either already had it or are going to get it, right? And so, because there's not going to be a vaccine for a long time, a year and a half, whatever. Even that would be world record time, by the way. Oh, by the way, the cannibal, he got, long story, but one of the reasons he became a cannibal was because of a pandemic. Oh, he's from Houston. It's a long story. It's amazing. I tracked him down, man. It was a tough track. Oh, that was dangerous tracking him down. I got him, though. Let's see. Christopher Tipton. I read the book, I'll tell you in future books how I tracked him down. You're going to be amazed. And I'm going to tell you what. It's funny, when people stalk me, I've had these stalkers like Andrew McGregor Marshall. Look his name up. What a punk. And some of these other stalkers, he's a writer. He used to work for Reuters, but he got fired. He had drug problems and meth problems and stuff. And that's why they call him Andrew Meth and Mushrooms. But, stalking me. And I'm like, they don't know who I am. They think I'm just some, fresh-faced guy or whatever. Or I don't know, fresh-faced anymore. You know what I mean? But I'm like, you shouldn't stalk somebody like me. You've never met somebody that can stalk like I can stalk. You know what I mean? Like at a high professional level. You know what I mean? Don't do it, Rambo. Let's see. Vicky Ferguson Etchard. Even if there is a vaccine, not taking it there. Yeah. Yeah, Vicky, I was thinking the same on vaccine. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I'm starting to strongly understand even more so anti-vaxxers' views. Because, they're always trying to make anti-vaxxers look criminal or whatever, right? Crazy. And they'll pick the ones that kind of come across as crazy to put on the camera. But in reality, they've got really good points. When you really sit down and go, okay, it sounds crazy, you're anti-vaxxer, and I'm very pro-science. Let's go point by point then, and let's actually check out the points. And as you start checking out their points, you're like, well, actually, if I take their points point by point and look, they're not crazy. The anti-vaxxers are not crazy. Keep in mind, I got about, over a dozen vaccines last year to return to India. And then the insurgency started in Hong Kong, and I jumped over to Hong Kong, right? So I'm not anti-vaxxer. I still get vaccines. But I can tell you one thing. I'm listening closer now to anti-vaxxers than I've ever done in my life, especially after seeing World Health Organization, CDC, Dr. Fauci, and Jerome Adams, the Surgeon General. All of them lie. Big lies. Not little tiny lies, but massive lies. Don't wear masks and all this other things. Or World Health Organization covering up that it was airborne, on behalf of China. So these sorts of things. So now if they come up with a virus and say, everybody's got to get the vaccine, they come up with a vaccine, everybody's got to get the vaccine, I'm going to be like, hold on, Rambo. You lied to me about masks. You've lied about a lot of things that are bald-faced lies, and I'm not just taking you at your word that this thing is safe. Look at the polio vaccine in the 1950s. It was polio. That was certainly a genesis, as far as my research goes, which is extensive, on why this Houston cannibal became a cannibal. Actually, his daughter comes on my Facebook sometimes. If she comes on sometimes, we maybe chat with her. Oh, yeah, I've had stalkers, Lois. I've had serious stalkers. But they, Andrew McGregor Marshall, look him up. He did send a message last year. Anyway, long story, but that guy went for years. And then the other guy down in the Texas guy, what's his name? CJ Grisham, that guy. Yeah, I've had him for sure. And one thing about stalkers, though, that I've learned in my study of stalkers is they've always stalked somebody else too. You won't be the only one. And now in the age of social media, when it becomes known that somebody's stalking you, other people come out of the woodwork and start giving you information about them. It's pretty wild. But the polio, okay. In the 1950s, there was a pandemic of polio, and it was really terrible. And one of the bad places hit was Houston, Texas, and that's where the cannibal was from. So he was born there to a real Christian family. His father had been an army officer in World War II. I got his medals and stuff. I don't physically have them. I just have photos of him. I found that his father was married to another woman that his whole family didn't know about. They're like, because I was bringing it up to the family later. I was like, oh, who is she? And they're like, oh, he wasn't married twice. I was like, yeah, he was. Yeah, I got proof. He was married twice. Then Gary was born with the second wife. And Gary the Cannibal. I call him GTC. Anyway, Gary was born on December 3rd, 1950 in Houston to a very nice family. Dad graduated from Texas A&M and all these things. And he ended up being a partner in PricewaterhouseCoopers. Think about that for a minute. And owned part of a golf course, that sort of thing. And then Gary, when he was 2.5 years old, he got polio in June of 1952. There was no vaccine yet. And so it withered his left leg. So the rest of his life, he was trying to find ways to fix his leg. But anyway, That guy, Mike Morgan, says, I'm still stalking C.J. Grisham. He told me you're hiding in Thailand to avoid lawsuits. Yeah. I've told Grisham never to approach me. I will take it as a lethal attack and respond without warning. That guy is straight up, he has made many subtle threats. He's threatening me and others, and then after he does it, he'll like shoot some animal and post a photo of that animal. He's got look, I've studied stalkers a lot. I've had stalkers, and I watch their behaviors. I'm the one that read Justin Alexander's diary and told his mother and his friend to go over to India and find one guy, and that's probably your guy, and they found him, and then that guy got arrested for Justin's murder, right? So I mean, I'm not very bad actually. I'm quite good. That's been my superpower all along on being able to read people, is being able to figure out signal from noise on who's, and Grisham's straight up dangerous. He is straight up dangerous. He is no joke. That's why I've told him, do not approach me. Do not approach me at all. I'll take that as a lethal attack in progress. Whereas Andrew McGregor Marshall, he's a coward. Well, Grisham's a coward too, but that's why. But they're quite dangerous. I mean, Andrew McGregor Marshall, he's a complete coward. He is unhinged. He's been arrested. Grisham is a guy that started stalking me in Afghanistan. Don, he's a military. He was a soldier in the army. He was in counterintelligence. And he stalked quite a few people actually, and he's been like a school in Alabama almost got they talked about getting a restraining order for him. It got public for him. It got public, and then he threatened to sue him, and all so many things. Just look up his name. You'll see like endless articles of him. Like he'll carry his rifle into Starbucks with all this women and children around. Walmart got a shotgun with him, and now I understand. I'm very pro Second Amendment. Everybody knows that. But at the same time, you know what I mean? And you have a right to carry that into McDonald's or to whatever. But let's face reality. There are a lot of random school shootings and that sort of thing. And if you come in and you got your body armor on, and it is your right, and you're just walking up and down the aisles trolling in Walmart, the thing is, if it was just that, I would say, oh, maybe he's just doing that. And that is his way of guarding Second Amendment. But I've seen him on other behaviors, like school uniforms. He did the same stuff on school uniforms in Alabama. He lives in Texas now. And many other topics, right? He'll just pick a topic. And at one point, I became his topic. And he began doing things that were hurting me, like very serious things in Afghanistan. And I've never physically met him. And he's always, I caught him in stolen valor. See, that's a problem that he had. He started stalking me, and I'm like, son, don't do it. And so that was when I found out that he did stolen valor. And it was interesting. One guy that was a Delta Force support guy, he also started stalking me. His name was Jeff Hinton, right? And he had a website called, is it still up? The Silent Professionals. Look it up, see if it's still there. And so he started doing things. So when you get one stalker, they try to recruit others, right? and the serious ones. Look at that show, Tiger King or whatever. You see the lady stalking the exotic Joe or whatever, Joe Exotic. What a show! And actually, Gary the Cannibal was very much like Joe Exotic, very similar in behavior patterns. But he was actually kind of a stalker himself. But she was absolutely a PETA stalker. PETA, that people for the ethical treatment of animals. She said she was a member of that group. But yeah, the one Jeff Hinton guy that owns the website, the Silent Professionals. He started stalking me, just random. They just come out of the blue. Like, I've never met them, didn't know their name, and they start doing all kinds of things, contacting people doing all kinds of things, like terrible, terrible things. And there's a big difference between a troll and a stalker. Big, big difference, huge. I can spot them very quickly. A troll is just a gnat. They're just a nuisance. You just wipe them away, right? Or you just block them, whatever. But a true stalker, they kill people every single day. Well, that Jeff Hinton dude started getting on it as well. But he has a website that has a bunch of special operators on it called Silent Professionals. And I was like, you know what? You need to leave me alone. And I said, we're all equals. And he's like, no, we're not equals. And a lot of some of those others were like, you're not equal. You're just a punk writer. And I was like, okay. Let me show you what Delta Force is really like. So anyway, some other things happened, and notice he doesn't say much anymore. Yeah. Never mess with somebody that went stalking cannibals alone, you know what I mean, in the jungles of India. It's like, dude, I ain't afraid. The whole Delta Force Navy SEAL stuff, guess what? I ain't impressed. You know what I mean? Somebody else probably is. So there you go. Let's see. Angela asked a good question. Angela Lawson, why should we be afraid to take the vaccine shot if they find a cure for the coronavirus? It might not be a shot, but that's not the topic. But well, like for instance, when they came out with a vaccine for polio, a vaccine didn't work and killed some kids and hurt a lot. I don't remember the numbers, but it was a significant number. It wasn't like 4, you know what I mean? 4 is significant, but it's child, but at the same time, it was like much, you can look it up. So look at the, what was it called? Salk actually ended up making the vaccine that worked, but there's a lot of other things that go towards decreasing a lot of these diseases as well that you don't, like sanitation. Like a lot of the reasons that people get sick are simple things like sanitation. So if you have better water and better habits and that sort of thing, that obviously knocks down these things as well. They ain't going to test it on me. Oh, Kim, you talking about the cannibal hunting? Oh, it was straight up. It was. If I didn't have pictures and video, it was quite scary even for me. It was. But it was interesting. I got them. Let's see. Angela says, do you really believe that the government wants to slow down so many people in the world? I don't know what you mean. I'm hesitant now on, first of all, trust from medical professionals is vital. Like trust from clergy is vital. Like from the Catholic Church, it's vital, right? It's very, very important. And we saw Jerome Adams, Dr. Fauci, the World Health Organization, and variously the CDC come up and give false information that was transparently false, that you don't need even to be a medical doctor to see. And they might throw the creds on, like, you don't have the creds for this. And it's like, listen, I'm not an army general either, but guess who was the first one saying how it was going in Afghanistan? Look at my work, 2006, 12 major articles, right? No, I'm not an army general, right? But I don't need to be one to see what was going on, right? Likewise, I don't need to be a medical doctor or an infectious disease expert to watch Jerome Adams, the Surgeon General, lie to millions of people that you don't need to wear a mask. Not only that, you should not wear a mask because he didn't say this part, because they didn't stockpile enough masks. They didn't have enough masks. And so, yeah, but he was dishonest. They lie. They lie. They lie. Dr. Fauci lies transparently. Jerome Adams, World Health, Tedros at World Health Organization. Look, I like Steve Bannon's idea, or whoever came up with it. Either defund the World Health Organization or put Ben Carson in charge, Dr. Ben Carson. I would support him. I like him. He was like, of the last presidential election, he was the only one that I actually liked, was Ben Carson. But his energy is a little low for president. But I trusted him for some reason. I don't like, out of all the candidates that were running, including Trump, they all set my antenna going hard on, I didn't trust him. But Carson, for some reason, I just felt like, okay, he's not setting off my alarms. I could prove to be wrong, but yeah. So if they come out and they've got this vaccine and they start saying, oh, it's safe, we've tested it and everything's good, and I'm going to be like, hey, yeah, you're the guys that told us don't wear masks. You're the guys that did a lot of things that were not true. They fumbled the ball on credibility. That was vital. That was really a loss. I like Ben Carson. I wish his energy was a little bit higher. Mike Carlson said, you ever read War by Sebastian Junger? I don't know if I read that. I read some of his other work. He's a great writer. I've communicated with Sebastian before. We're not friends. I don't think, no, we never met. We were in the wars. We were in Afghanistan, I think, at the same, I'm not sure, but I didn't actually meet him. But yeah, I like Ben Carson. I think, like, if Ben Carson came up and said, I'm suggesting you don't wear a mask, I'd like have a heart attack. I'd be like, what? You know what I mean? That would be like, we need somebody that's got enough integrity that will just be like, okay, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to get up in front of millions of people and tell them wrong medical information. That is just, that violates the oath. How many oaths? Like, so like a lot. Not just the Hippocratic oath, but others, right? Do no harm. I mean, it just completely violates that. And yeah, I don't think that that Ben Carson would do that. Maybe he would. I hope not. Yeah, but this is I got the same position Steve Bannon has on it. I was communicating with Steve on some things tonight, actually. But with defund the World Health Organization or put Ben Carson and accept him as the chief. Because that's the only way that I'm going to come off. That's the only way that you're going to find common ground with me. You got to put somebody at the head of it that I trust. And it's not going to be somebody that's a Maoist. It's not going to be somebody selected by China. We are the biggest donor. United States is the biggest donor of the World Health Organization. And our economy is collapsing. So we need to start cutting a lot of things, big time. Especially things that are counterproductive and are part of the information operation going on from China, right? And so I don't accept them. In fact, any president who accepts the World Health Organization and continues to fund them is going to get pushback from at least this American, right? But if they accept Ben Carson, and Ben Carson's a medical doctor, he ran for president. Actually, anyway. Then I'll back off. I'll back off if they let Ben Carson in there. Yeah, Ben Fauci. Lois is talking about. I don't trust Fauci. Something about Fauci. He's not as bad as Jerome Adams, but I don't trust Fauci. That's I've never met either one. I don't know him personally, but I've watched both of them hours and hours talking. I'm like, I don't trust Adams at all. Because he's actually objectively lied. And Fauci has as well. But Fauci seems to be more, he tries to tell the truth, I think, but he still is willing to tell medical lies. And then Ben Carson, I haven't seen him do that. I haven't seen a case where Dr. Carson does that. Oh, thank you, Sam. I haven't eaten in 6 days. Oh, remember when I held up that day one? Well, I'm into 6 now. I'll be into 7 tomorrow. 6 days. I love fasting. Actually, you know what? All of our special operations guys, here's day 6. Y'all should join me. All of our special operations guys should fast, and infantry people. Because, you get out on these missions and stuff, You know, a lot of these guys are pretty young, of course, really hardcore guys, and very fit. And you're out; they can be out there for a long time. You know, you start getting hungry, and they got a lot of good discipline and stuff. But if you've gone for a period of your life for at least one time, going at least 10 days with no food, then when you're like, oh man, I haven't eaten in a couple days, I'm really hungry, you'd be like, oh, whatever, dude, I can go 10 days. I've gone 20 days with no food, right? Zero food, 20 days, right? So if I don't have food for 2 or 3 or 4 days, 5 days, well, it's 6 days right now, I haven't had a bite of food. All I have is my vitamins, which I got to fill them up again. It's empty. And water. I've even stopped coffee. I haven't had a coffee since yesterday. I haven't had a tea or anything. No calories. And so, Eduardo's on day 5. Cool. No, I don't. Not while I'm fasting, Bonita. I'm not drinking lemon water. That becomes a lemon water diet. I don't do that. Although, the lemon water, that is a good one. That's a good one. It's good for vitamin C, so I'm not putting it down because I have before. And actually, I will again in the future. But not this particular fast. This particular fast, I'm going hardcore. I mean, I've even stopped coffee. And so I'm literally only drinking water. And I had about a teaspoon of salt today. That was the first time I took salt and sea salt just for electrolytes. Yeah, I don't trust Fauci. Bonita, did I get a headache after stopping coffee? No, I didn't actually. I was wondering if I would, but I didn't. I did not actually. Let me try to answer it. Yeah, I don't. Don is asking. You don't feel hungry at all? And if I've skipped a lot of questions, I just can't answer them because there's so many up there. But no, I don't feel hungry. And I wonder if Soy's awake because she's been fasting too. She started at the same time I did at 5:30 in the afternoon 6 days ago, right? And I told she's never gone more than 5 days, I think. And then she stopped after 5 days. She got really hungry. I was like, no, that's when it gets good. It gets good on about day 6, day 7 to 8. That's when it gets good. You know your hunger starts to go away, and your smell, your olfactory senses become more keen, and which is tough in Thailand because Thailand has such good food, and so there's so many good smells and stuff. But at the same time, your actual hunger goes down unless you have a very low body fat and you start eating your muscle. In which case, yeah. Let's see. Biological carrier saying, I listen to Joe Rogan and a lot, and also Eric Weinstein on the portal, both on YouTube. What I find interesting is Eric speaks the same issues you do about Fauci and the others, including the CDC. Oh, I have to watch that. If you know a particular episode, I'll watch it. But I don't. The Weinstein guy is pretty smart. I got to know him because his brother is Brett, right? Brett Weinstein. Because his brother, remember, I study information war, and this is my 3rd book on Chinese information war. And his brother Brett is a biology teacher, I think, right? I think his brother Brett, Eric Weinstein, I think his brother Brett is a biology teacher, and people started attacking him. So I was like, and they were doing it with the whole, trying to make him lose his job and labeling him a racist and all kinds of xenophobic and all that crap. And I was like, oh shit, he's under attack. Sorry, my language. He's under attack from the same sort of people I fight every day. And so I started paying attention, and then I started paying attention to Brett Weinstein. I was like, oh, that guy's smart. I like him. I like him because he seems like, I don't know, he comes across as trustworthy. He comes across as super smart and trustworthy. So I started, I was like, and then I was like, oh, the Eric Weinstein guy is actually his brother. And yeah, Brett, I think Brett Weinstein must have does he have a podcast himself? If he does, I need to sign up for it. No, I stopped on the coffee more than a day ago, Ed. I love coffee. You don't have to go without coffee. This is the first time I fasted without coffee, Ed. This is the first time. And actually, the first about 4 days, I had coffee, and then I stopped. And I stopped for a specific reason, too. I was sometimes fasting will hurt your sleep, right? And so I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was like, sleep is vital. Sleep. Your nutritions are exercise, what food you eat, and your sleep, that's a vital triangle right there. You've got to square those three away or your life is screwed. Exercise, what you eat, sleep. Got to get those three things. And any one of those is broken, the whole thing's broken. So with my fasting affecting my sleep, I was like, okay, I got to knock out the coffee because I need my sleep because I have to study this virus 7 days a week and come on and talk about it. I can't be. No, Mike, I'm not fluent in Japanese. I don't speak Japanese. I wrote it in American, and they translate it. Let's see. Hello in Thailand. Sawadee Kap. Let's see. All right, Russell. Adios. I hope everything's good. Pop and smoke. Pop white smoke. When people say pop smoke, that's like a military term for, well, actually it can have different meanings. It depends on the context, but generally it can mean leaving, or it can mean, generally it means leaving. Because, pop white smoke is a screen, right? So if you're going to attack an enemy or run away from an enemy, you can pop white smoke, or you can use it as a marker as well. You can use it for whatever you want. How is Egg? He's great. Actually, I'll publish some photos of him tonight or tomorrow. He's doing great. Rachel Lux Finical says, nothing you can do but educate. The decision is hers, for now anyway. Don't ever get enough sleep. Yeah, sleep is important. Sleep is important. Let me see if there's any questions, because I skipped by so many, and I'm not being rude. I just, we had the tech problem when I was trying to get Kim on. Hello, Mississippi, in Oklahoma City. No echo. Good. I gotta knock out that echo. Yeah, I changed the password there. Hello, Fanny Choi in Hong Kong. I hope if you're still on, I hope everything's great over in Hong Kong. All right, Michelle Arlene. Hi, Mike here from Arkansas, and began my first extended fast last night. Awesome, awesome. You'll feel good soon. Got to get through about that first 3 or 4 days. By the fourth day, listen. I'll give you some tricks. If you start getting hungry, start talking with friends or call somebody up on the phone and start talking, because talking for some reason decreases hunger. I've just noticed it in me. So if you start feeling hungry, hey, call somebody up, start talking. I don't know, maybe it takes your mind off of it or something. And remember that hunger it's hormonal, right? And so it goes like this. You might think, oh, it's going sharp. It's going logarithmic. I'm going to be so hungry in 3 hours. I'm going to eat tree bark, but that's not how hunger really goes. It goes like this, and it goes down, and it goes, you know what I mean? And it goes like a sine wave almost. I don't know if it's a real sine wave, but it's a wave, right? And but you can certainly overcome it. You can overcome it quite well. Now, one Russian scientist studied fasting. He was a Russian medical doctor. I forgot his name. I've got his book, and he said, as long as you got sufficient fat, you can go pretty much long. I think the world record for fasting with zero food was like 300. That was medically supervised, and the doctors signed off basically that he actually didn't eat food. I think it was a Scottish guy that went like 383 days or something, no food. He lost a lot of weight. He was really fat, and he kept the weight off apparently. And the medical doctor said, that Russian doctor, he's like, you don't get that. He called it wolf hunger. You don't get the wolf hunger until you've depleted your fat reserves. And your wolf hunger is you're like, all right, that's starting to cannibalize the other people on the wagon trail with you. You know what I mean? That's Donner Pass type stuff. That's straight up survival cannibalism at that point. Did you see the Pensacola Easter video? Yeah, I did send it. I did see it. A bunch of people out partying, and the police were, asking them to leave, and, And I watched it. It was pathetic. It was expected. Man, I grew up in America, right? I grew up in Florida. I would absolutely expect that. But we got certain subcultures that do that, and they will not be. They won't. The only time they're going to take it seriously is when people in their community start dying. around them, like their mother dies, and then their grandmother dies, and then and then they'll be like, oh no, why didn't they take care of me? It's because it's racism. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you guys were out. There was like 400 of you out there drinking beer, all out partying around each other, hugging on each other. The police are asking you to leave, and you won't leave. But I guarantee you, a lot of people from that party will soon be sick, and they'll be blaming it on, not getting enough. I grew up in Florida. I know what's coming next. I study cultures. I watch closely, and I just say what I see, no matter whose feelings it helps or hurts. Let's see. Deb Trouble says, I couldn't fast. I only weigh 101 pounds, so that would recommend some. Oh, yeah. I mean, actually, you can do like a quick fast if you don't have much body fat. Because, there seems to be good medical benefits, like autophagy. You might want to look that up, and quite a few other things that can really help your health. Just to fast like once per year, maybe. You know who wrote some good work about this? Dr. Jason Fung. He's a Canadian nephrologist. He's a medical doctor. He's a nephrologist, kidney guy, right? So, yeah, I read all of his books, and I don't have diabetes, but one of his books was on diabetes. We all know people that's got diabetes. Everybody does. Every Thai, every American, they either got it or they know somebody that does, right? And know a lot of people that do, because it's a huge and terrible thing. Fasting, you can knock that. The drug companies, of course, want to give us drugs for diabetes, but you can fast and knock it right out. I'm talking type 2, not type 1. Type 2, you can knock it right out. Like very quick too, not like 6 months, like instantly knock it out. Just stop. And people ask, well, if you're doing a complete fast, what I'm doing, it's so simple. That's one of the great things about it. Because when you're trying to do these special diets, it gets complicated. You're like, oh, I can only eat white food or green food or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's on Tuesdays, it's got to have 4 leaves on it or something. It just gets, you're like, I'm busy. I got things to do. You're throwing all these complexities on me. But with fasting, it's really simple. It's just like, don't eat. What time should we eat today? We don't. You know what I mean? Should we take something? Should we take a liquid diet and take some orange juice fast? I'm like, no, orange juice is not fasting. How about a Diet Coke? No. How about anything? No. Water. I've been drinking coffee, but I stopped that yesterday. I think in future fast, I might not even do coffee or anything. I might just do water. I wonder how long I'm going to do this one. We'll see. Oh, no, Ted, Ted says, I thought the body didn't differentiate between fat and muscle when it sought energy. Oh, yeah, it does. If you've got extra fat, remember, fat is our bank account for energy, right? That's our natural bank account. And think about it. If you're in a survival situation, the last thing your body really wants to tear down is muscle, because that's what you're going to need to go get some food, right? Fight, catch you some deer or whatever, go collect food up in the mountains or whatever. You need energy. So if our bodies went straight for our muscles, as so many people think, it doesn't. There's only a small amount of muscle lost, and it's easy to get it back anyway. So it's like, I don't even worry about muscle loss. Who cares, man? You get it right back. Muscle's easy to build. All you got to do is work out or go walk and do your stuff. You know what I mean? Who cares? Oh, I lost some muscle. Oh, boo. Who cares? Go get it back. You know what I mean? It's like Mike Morgan. No, it's fasting is thought to greatly strengthen your immune system. Al Johnson brought that up recently while we were on a live stream, and he asked me to comment on the effects on viruses while fasting. I wouldn't do that because that's getting too in the weeds on medicine, and that's beyond my headlights. Whether it's actually, let's say, safer now to fast during the pandemic, you know what I mean? But I'm not getting much contact with the outside world at all, and when I do, I'm all kitted up with my mask and everything, so I'm not as concerned about that. Kim says, can you exercise while fasting like this? Oh, yeah, you can. You can, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I was doing some of the protests in Hong Kong while fasting. But then I was doing some of that in the summertime, though. It was really hot, and I had And then I had an electrolyte imbalance one evening when I got home, so I stopped doing that. But actually, there's people that run like marathons while fasting and things like that. That's why I think every special operations person should do at least one 10-day total fast and continue to do combat stuff. But actually, the first 10-day fast, do it under more relaxed conditions. Actually just do a day now, and then do 2 days some other time, and then some other time. Just do as much as you want. That's the way I do it. If you don't set like a goal, like I'm going to go 15 days, because then it's like, drag it out to 15 days. Just go. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I'm going to fast. I'm going to skip lunch. You know what I mean? And then I've started some of my fasts like that. Like, I'm going to skip lunch. You're like, I'm going to skip dinner. You wake up, I'll skip breakfast. Next thing you know, 3 days later, you haven't eaten anything. You know what I mean? You just start naturally. So if you do it, if you don't set these psychological hurdles that you have to keep jumping over, and you just allow yourself to fast. I'm allowing myself. I can go eat right now. I got wonderful food right here. You know what I mean? I can go cook it up. I got a great kitchen. But since I'm allowing myself to do it, I don't have to discipline myself. And as soon as I'm ready to stop, I'll stop. I'll go cook some good food. Yeah, fasting is great. I love fasting, man. It's great. Laura says, I weigh about 100. The longest I can fast is 3 days. It does have detox immunity benefits. It makes you feel good, doesn't it? It makes you also appreciate food more. Like when you, like at the end of this fast, I've got some apples. You take an apple, take one of those really sharp Japanese knives, and slice it to like paper thin, the apple, and just like put some salt on it and eat the apple, or a tomato like that too. Man, so you enjoy just a little bit of food so much. You can just be like, I'm only going to take this one apple, and I'm just going to enjoy this apple for like an hour and a half, man. I'm just going to, and you will. Try it. You'll just be like, it's a enlightenment, actually. Get a nice quiet place and just like, I'm just going to enjoy this apple. I'm just going to enjoy slowly eating this apple. Let the rough apple on your tongue, Oh, man, it's a great experience. I love it. Yeah, it certainly makes you appreciate food more. Ted says, I used to run marathons. Dr. Cover Bailey once said, we have enough energy from fat to run from Chicago to L.A. You can't load enough carbohydrates to run a marathon. Oh, yeah. When he's talking about carb loading, that's if you're an athlete, you know what he's talking about. If you're not, that might be he says, therefore, you have time to learn how to burn fat. Therefore, you have time to learn how to burn fat. Yeah, carb loading is something I used to do at times when I was doing super sports. But it's a side topic. But yeah, I mean, look, we got plenty of fat. Most of us do, not everybody. Vicky Ferguson Escher. I saw a doctor who said intermittent fasts were good and that could be 10, 6, 16, or 24 hours and said it was good for health. Oh, it's so good. It makes you feel good, I'll tell you that. And it can help many. You'll see what I mean if you do it. There's many ways to fast. There's how many ways to fast would be like how many ways are there to paint a painting over my map? You know what I mean? You can just you can fast in so many different ways, like 18 hours no food, 6 hours food, if you break it down in 24-hour periods. Or like, no, I didn't get my electric shaver yet, Mike. I thought it would come. I was hoping it would come today. I wonder, should I shave this thing off or keep it? Yeah, Jacob says you redevelop after fasting. I'm adding the after fasting. You develop sensitivity of the natural taste and sugars of all foods. You enjoy food a lot more after you've fasted. You'll take a little piece of food and enjoy it, like not shoveling it down like it's got a double Whopper with cheese or whatever. And I like actually some fast food sometimes. Like I'll go to KFC. You know what I mean? People are like, "Wow, you're always into eating healthy," and then you'll go eat a double cheeseburger and McDonald's fries. It's like, yeah, I will. I like that too, man. I'm not gonna say I don't. I like sometimes, but generally I don't. But yeah, sometimes. How long am I going to fast? Lisa asked. And what vitamins do you take? I wish I could show you the vitamins, but it's just like multivitamins. It's like nothing special at all. Multivitamins, vitamin C, of course, and D3, and I got some elderberry coming in, and I take some sea salt sometimes. I took it like a teaspoon earlier, but not a lot, just enough that because you know that's not bringing calories into me. Oh, so Lois is saying yes, shave. Okay, I'll shave. You'll know when my electric razor comes in when I come on and I'm not looking like Grizzly Adams. All right, Pamela. Oh, I was trying to do an interview with Kim, who's a activist for the Tibetans, and we had tech problems, and so I didn't want to try to work through it in front of everybody because it could take 30 minutes, and you would be upset. Hey, Barbara, but welcome on. Hey, Barbara, friend had gastrosurgery, blood normal after 1 week. She lost 120 pounds. Good, outstanding. You know, one problem with this disease too, with the pandemic, is it's striking fat people, and so a lot of fat people are dying from it. The doctors are saying that that's like one of the major issues. Maybe now's a good time for a lot of people to fast. We're going to get some good things out of this pandemic. Well, there's definitely a silver lining to it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of bad lining to it, but there's a silver lining too. Jacob says, ever feel sick after eating fast food after fasting, like your body? Well, I'm not going to eat I'm not going to eat garbage food after. That's not going to be my first meal after fasting. I'm going to eat like light soup. Or sometimes I've gone to a straight meal, but I'm not going to go to McDonald's after or something like that after fasting. No way. And I'm not going to any places like that now anyway, even if it's takeout, because I'm not taking a chance with this virus. What do elderberries do? Actually, you might want to study. Yeah, I take magnesium, Lois. Cheeseburger. What do elderberries do? Now you should study up on elderberries. My grandmother, my grandfather used to always be like, elderberries are good for this, elderberries are good for that. And, you know, it turns out, like normal, they were right. And but if you check elderberries online, and you'll see, like if you start to get a cold, take some elderberries right then, elderberry syrup, right? Take it right then. And, you know, take it immediately. Don't wait until it's really dived in. Like my grandparents used to say, it was good for colds. And, you know, it was just old folk remedy. But now, I think there's actually a lot of doctors will use it. So I'm not sure what all it can do, but it seems to be another one of those natural medicines. Elderberries. Let's see. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It certainly can. Yeah, my fasting is making you hungry. Actually, again, Kim, when you get into beyond like the 5th day or so, the hunger will kind of vanish. Like every time when I hit 10 days, I'm like, I'm not even hungry. Why would I ever want to eat again? Look at all you weak people eating. Look at you weak people eating food. I don't eat food. And like you've seen vegetarians and other people with certain diets, and they're like, kind of can be, some aren't, but some are, you know what I mean, can get like Hochnaces. That's a German word. They get kind of dietary arrogance. I see that all over the world. Not with vegetarians, but dietary arrogance is normal around the world. You see xenophobia. I've seen a lot of dietary arrogance. They'll be like, well, we're all vegetarians in our culture, and all you meat eaters, which is what they'll call us, right? And I'm like, well, anyway. Elderberry syrup. You can get that on Amazon, too. Oh, I love blackberries, man. Yeah, Jacob, it's good to start fasting. I mean, fasting's good for you. Fasting makes you feel good. But again, you get past about 5-6 days, or for some days, for some people 3-4 days. Like women, maybe 4 days, and men maybe 3. But getting into the 5th day, then you're getting through the turbulence, and through the 6th day, it's getting much better. I'm on the 6th day now. I'll be on the 7th day soon. Then you get to about 10 and it's really easy. Again, you're like, yeah, I don't need to eat. And but you're going to eat again. All right, so unless there's any more questions, let's see. Mark Elliott saying the governor in Mississippi just canceled school today for the rest of the school year. I'm surprised it wasn't done before. Lois says the less you eat, the less you want. One problem with me is I love chocolate. I love chocolate. That's like my only bad habit is chocolate. Like I'll eat some chocolate, like a kilo of chocolate. I mean, maybe not a kilo, pound. Those little. Oh, I'll eat like 4 candy bars. It's terrible, but I love it. I love chocolate. You just have to don't bring it into the house. Yeah, everybody's body is different. Yeah. Liz Bell is saying they say elderberry messes with virus. Not good. Better research with this virus first. I've got elderberry coming in just for this virus, just in case. Actually, I'm just going to take my chance. Also, remember the real seasonal cold is still out there as well. It's not like that's gone away. And so, Lisa Ditoff Brown, you mentioned takeout food. So many are doing that still. We are on the fence with that idea. I'm not going to do it. I think it's a bad idea at this point. I'm not doing it. Jacob Crisp, peanut M&Ms are my Achilles heel. Oh man, I love them. And which brand do I recommend? Don, are you talking about elderberry? I don't know. Yeah, actually, what Rachel is saying cocoa is not cocoa. Yeah, and actually, some people eat that during fast, right? Like super dark chocolate is supposed to be quite good for you, actually. I like super dark chocolate. Which brand of elderberry? I did what I normally do. I got numerous brands in case one's not exactly good, and then I'll mix them up over the days. It'll be like Mondays this brand, Tuesdays that brand, Mondays back to the other. But I must have got about 4 different brands on Amazon. You can go to Amazon and get them right now. There's all kinds of different, and you can look at the. But I don't know how to recommend them. Yeah, chocolate. The thing about chocolate though is it will make you hungry because the sugar will make you hungry. Like I saw some people on a hunger strike in Hong Kong. It was a Christian group, and they had these energy drinks, and that's the worst thing that they could do because that's going to make you hungry. That energy drink is going to spike your blood sugar, and you're going to get hungry, and then you're going to be like, I don't want to be on this hunger strike. This is terrible. You know what I mean? It's like this is horrible. It's like I got to eat, but if you just do what I do, don't just stop eating. If it ain't water. Or coffee's fine, but not with sugar, not with honey, not with sugar, not with milk, just totally black. Just don't eat anything at all, and you can handle the hunger. It's not that bad. Elderberry, everything in Indiana. That's good. 70% of the above. Jacob says 70% and above dark chocolate, high antioxidants. Yeah, I love that. I like the lighter chocolate better, but I like dark chocolate too. But you're welcome, Don. And there's different ways to take it. Some of the doctors will like to, and like my grandparents, who ended up being accurate on everything in the universe. It's syrup. So there's elderberry syrup on Amazon too. I got some of that. Man, we used to go pick blackberries, not blueberries, but blackberries. We'd pick them and make pancakes out of it. 75% dark chocolate. Kim says, none of us are getting out of this alive. Well, we're going to get out of the pandemic alive. Well, most of us will, but we're not going to get out of life alive. Enjoy life while you can. Do good, have fun. That's right. Love and be loved. Doesn't get any better. We'll go when our top numbers up. That's right. And there are ways to enjoy your days better. And some of those can be just fasting sometimes because it can help you I mean, it's an enjoyable thing to do for starters. And then it makes you enjoy the time that you're not fasting. Because I love food. I'm crazy about food. I'll eat some food, man. People invite me. I was out in Iraq one time, not with the army. I was out alone one time. I went up in the northern area. I was up with the Yazidi people, right? And these Yazidi people invited me into their village. And the headman's like, "Would you like to eat with us?" Being my interpreter, right? And I was like, "Yeah." So we sit down to eat, and his wife brought out this chicken. It was good. First I said, "I'm hungry." And the whole village started laughing. And he said, "Would you like to have lunch with us or whatever?" And I said, "Yes, I'm hungry." And the whole village laughed. They were like, I guess they thought I would say no. But when he offered me food, I wasn't being polite. I was hungry, you know. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll eat. I'm hungry, man. Thanks." So we went into his house, and his wife, man, I was eating all that food. He was like, that guy used to be a POW in Iran. He showed me the papers. I published them, actually. It's called, I don't remember what the dispatch is called, but I was out with the Yazidis. I like the Yazidis. Hey, Saba. Saba, all right. Saba is a true Thai patriot. He's like the Thai version of me. Let's see. Well, and he's a good friend of mine. Vicky Ferguson Escher. Hey, you should put your link to your site here, Saba. You should put your link up. All right. Well, it's 3:35 in the morning here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and let me go ahead and shoot off because it looks like most of the folks are leaving. And whoa, what did I do there? And y'all have a good night. How do I turn this off? Trying to turn it off. Oh, here we go. Finish. Mic out.